Good evening, everybody, and welcome to All Things Podcast. This evening, we see when we thought everything was settling down, another big news, another big event from ATM this time. We have a letter here from the ATM. ATM on the appointment of Professor Caesar Nonunga as new president. So the breaking news is that VUYO Zungula is no longer the president of ATM. Oh, breaking news, breaking news. Let me take you to Tabumakwakwa. ATM leader VUYO Zungula replaced by Professor Caesar Nonunga. In a surprising turn of events, the African Transformation Movement ATM has announced the removal of its leader, Vuyo Zungula. Another breaking news from Newsroom Africa. Professor Caesar Nonunga replaces Violet Zungula as African Transformation Movement leader. Another breaking news from the African perspective. Parliament and ATM leader Vuyo Zungula will be replaced by Professor Caesar Nongunga. Zungula, known to many as an advocate for transparency in governance, accountability, and ending illegal immigration, will be handing over to Professor Nongunga. So that's the breaking news this evening. And let's see people's reaction to this breaking news. Reaction to this breaking news. We will start here with the reaction of Brahloni at Slonsky. He says here, the bishop who leads the church. In fact, this one, he said it long ago, 28 April, saying the bishop who leads the church that formed ATM shot Vuyo Zungula in the foot. Zungula is entangled with MK Party against his will. Deep down, he knows this relationship. So Brahlonska, a long time ago, said that Uvuyo Zungula is not happy with this merger between MK and ATM. All right, so he says here, and then another reaction from the same Brashoni at Brashonsky. He says, Zungula has been removed as ATM president, but will continue to lead the party in parliament. You will not see servants having a meltdown on Twitter just because the party has introduced changes. Nobody will be insulting anyone. So here he's lashing on the commanders, but the odds are different. The odds are different. We'll address that in another video. All right, and then another reaction from Raisebe. She says, "Who removed the president of the organization to only be a member of parliament? We are in darkness with most of the things happening in our country. Politics, it's a dirty game. Shame." Right. Another reaction from Black Jesus. Black Jesus says MK Party commanders Vuyo Zungula will make a great SG. Kwazam Konto. Ah, another reaction. Mzandi Lembeche saying Vuyo Zungula is no longer the president of ATM. Professor Caesar Nongunga is now the president. Zungula will remain parliamentary leader. Mkonto Wesizwe, progressive young leaders. These are the reaction of the people, reaction of the people, reaction of the news that have just broken. He is no longer the president of ATM. A new president has come in. In fact, the founding father of that, he will be the one that becomes the leader in parliament of ATM. Marxist Leninist, there is no Vuyo Zungula who's going to be the MKP Secretary General. He's an ATM MP, and there is no MP who will simultaneously be the MKP Secretary General as per the Constitution. The comrades must not be excited over nothing. By the way, even if he's lobbied, he must refuse. So this is what is going on here. But I want us to look at this thing. Is it okay for a church to be in politics? Is it okay for a church to be in politics? Now, when we go to history and look in the Bible, whenever politics and church came together, whenever church and state came together, there has always been persecution of those who did not follow what the church and state of that time was doing. We can go back to the Roman time, the Roman Empire. When papacy was formed, it took Christianity, so church and state was united, and then the Roman Catholic Church was controlling the state. And the Roman Catholic Church changed the day of worship from Saturday to Sunday. And everyone who did not worship on Sunday was persecuted, in prison, tortured by the church, the Roman Catholic Church, the church controlling the state. We can even go back in Bible times. You have Nebuchadnezzar, the king, who erected a statue and commanded everyone to worship that statue at a certain time. And those who refused to worship the statue were persecuted. You have Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego cast into the lake of fire, into the fiery furnace, because they did not want to worship according to church and state law. You have Daniel also, who refused to worship the king. So church and state, whenever church and state are combined, whenever a church is involved in politics, the people who are not part of that church, the people who don't support that church will use that state to punish those people. Daniel was cast into the lion's den because he refused to worship according to what the powers that be were at the time. And you can go throughout history and throughout the Bible. Whenever the church is involved in politics, the church now has power over the state. The church will use the state to persecute anyone who does not toe the line. So I don't think, in fact, this church that formed ATM, I don't even think it was the right idea, because now you can see the members of the church. We saw some video of the members of the church complaining, saying that, well, when there's no longer a sermon in the church, it's all about Kwazam Konto in the church. It's all about pleasing the leader. It's all about Zuma. It's all about MK. So church has become a campaigning ground. Is it okay for a church to be involved in politics? Mm-mm. From history, it is not okay. Go to your history. Just look at what the Roman Catholic Church did, because the Roman Catholic Church had power over the state. The Roman Catholic Church was controlling the state, and 50 million, more than 50 million Christians were murdered, were killed, were butchered by this church. So if this church one day will be in power, anyone who does not do according to what the state or the church wants will be persecuted. As we're sitting down today, tonight, we're talking about an eminent Sunday national law that will be forced on everyone to worship on Sunday. And the church will be leading that. So every political party that is backed by the church, every political party or any church that is involved in politics, that church becomes a dangerous church. That church becomes an instrument of suppression, persecution. Look at your history. History will tell you. Roman Catholic did it. The church was controlling the state. Many people were killed. In days of Nebuchadnezzar controlled the church. He controlled worship. Many people were killed. And even Darius, during the times of Daniel, they said nobody is going to pray to any other god but the king. And a lot of people were killed because of that. So whenever church and state are united, are combined, there is persecution. So it is not good for a church to form a political party. What do? You preach against same-sex marriage. You preach against homosexual lesbianism, but you are in unity with a party that is okay with that. Make it make sense. How can the church preach righteousness, preach holiness, but it is in bed with a political party that does not agree with what the church is? You understand? So it's obvious whenever this church gets power, it's going to control anybody. I'm not saying that ATM is going to have control, but I'm just saying from the Bible perspective, a church should not be involved in politics. A church should not be involved in politics. This one, not only are they involved in politics, they formed a political party. Well, as the story develops, we're gonna post more and share our perspective here at All Things Podcast. But we just wanted to give you that breaking news that VUYO Zungula is no longer the president of ATM. And it is funny because you have two young leaders within a week. You had Floyd Chavambu, and now you've got the ATM leader, both removed. And both parties, ATM, MK, both parties removed two of their prominent leaders. In fact, they removed two of their engines in their movement, in their organization. What's going on here? What's going on here? Let's meet on the next one. Please subscribe if you've not yet subscribed. We are very grateful to everybody who subscribed. We are very happy. Let's continue doing that and let's watch what is happening. Comment below.